Cheers. It like revives my whole soul. Throughout my whole PhD journey, I've had very difficult moments, very stressful moments, but honestly, I don't think I've ever had as difficult of a whole entire month as the month of September and half of October has been. In the whole month of September, I don't think I had any day off, or maybe one day off. I think I had one day off in the whole entire month, which seems crazy out of proportions, me just being dramatic, but it's really not. It's really how it's been. So I haven't been reading, I haven't been filming videos, I haven't been doing anything. I've been just trying to take it day by day and survive, basically. Most of those very stressful things are thankfully out of my way, and the vision that I have for today is a day off. And because I haven't had as much time to read and to really enjoy October as I like to, I thought, this is it. Today is the day I'm gonna sit at home, I'm gonna cozy up, and I'm gonna be reading. I got my spooky reading sweater on, so you just know things are going to be very serious. It's currently, I think, 2 p.m. I had the most chill morning, did my whole morning routine, went to the gym, took my shower in peace and quiet, and ate my lunch. And now I want to start just doing cozy hobbies like reading. I want to work on a puzzle for October, which is really, really cute. I'll show you a bit later, and go outside, enjoy the nature. I'm gonna do separate walks with my two dogs. When I don't have a lot of time on my hands, I'll just do one walk, like both of them together. But because today is my day off, I'm going to take full advantage to enjoy the weather and to take them both separately out. So I'll be spending quite some time outside walking around, and it's a beautiful gloomy day. Let's talk about the books I want to read today. So we're gonna do a 24-hour readathon situation without any pressure. Okay, it's my day off. I don't need to pressure myself into reading 15 million books for my readathon. I just want to enjoy my day. I'm gonna try to read as much as possible because I enjoy reading in general. The first book that I want to pick up, I actually started reading just a couple pages yesterday, like last night, and then I fell asleep in like 2 seconds. So the book is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. I've been talking about this book in so many videos saying I'm gonna pick it up, and I never did. We're doing it today. Today is the day this book gets read, okay? I'm very excited. I just, in the first few pages that I read last night, I'm already loving it. It's very Gothic-y. The writing style is really good. And what I really enjoyed so far is that I feel that the themes that are really well explored in Frankenstein are already really well woven into the story. And like, I just read the first 9 pages or something, and I already can see and feel the themes that were brought up in Frankenstein, like the theme of creation, the creator, the theme of nature, how that is related to creation. So I have a feeling this is going to be a really good read. And by the way, Frankenstein is one of my favorite books of all time. So if you're unfamiliar with Frankenstein, Elizabeth is the betrothed of Victor Frankenstein. So we've seen a little bit of Elizabeth in the original work. I think it was through a couple letters. I mean, it's been years since I've read Frankenstein. I don't recall the details. But essentially, we didn't see that much of her. We didn't know as much about her character as we did about Victor Frankenstein. So this is her side of the story. This is her way of telling the story and what happened between her and Victor, and basically following her experience with dealing with such a crazy lunatic of a fiance. Right now, I made myself a little coffee, so I think I'm gonna read a little bit and enjoy my coffee, and then I'll go out to do the walks with the dogs. And probably while I do the walks, I'm just going to listen to the audiobook of this book. so that I can just continue reading throughout the whole day. So I'll come back to you with an update probably after the walks, just to kind of keep you updated on my thoughts about the book and give you a little bit more details once I read a bit more and I know a bit more what's gonna be about. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're also embracing a beautiful, cozy, chill day with lots and lots of reading. So I'll catch up with you soon. Hello, we're back for a little book update. I did my walks outside with both of my dogs. I enjoyed my coffee, and the walks were absolutely glorious, to be honest, because we're at that point where I feel like it's 1 week or 2 weeks in the whole season where the leaves have already peaked and now the leaves are starting to leave the trees. So it's this beautiful blend of colorful foliage, but also death, which I find is even more beautiful and gothic-y and aesthetic than just when all of the trees are in full colors. So yeah, that was really cool. I was outside for about 2 hours, and during the whole entire time I listened to the audiobook. I also got caught in the rain on my second walk, which was which was also poetic and very autumnal. I'm having the best autumnal day, honestly. Peak fall day. Let's talk a little bit about the book. So I am on chapter 11, which is about 40% through. I'm really loving it, man. This is a really good book. It's really well written, and I'm so surprised not more people are talking about it or recommending it, etc., etc. Like, this is peak October vibes, and it's really well done too. It's doing an amazing job at bringing me back to the atmosphere of Frankenstein, like the original story, the original book, while still being its own separate thing, and really feels like a complementary reading experience to that first story. And I think that's quite amazing because it doesn't try to take away from what Mary Shelley did in her book. It doesn't try to erase anything, it doesn't try to replace anything. And it really just feels like a compliment to it. But it's not just a compliment, like, it's good on its own. It's so freaking good. I love it so much. So, as I said before, is the story of Elizabeth. We go through her story both in the moments in which the original story of Frankenstein is recounted. So, in that period in time when Victor created a monster. So that's like the present timeline. But also, she keeps going back down memory lane and explaining to us how Victor was as a child, as a teenager, how he acted, how their relationship was. I really like how she keeps blending the past and the present. I have very mixed feelings about Elizabeth herself. I feel like the author did such a good job at making her a complex character. Like, into this book, I was like, okay, I know this is gonna be a feminist take on Elizabeth because, we're taking a story that was predominantly about a male and we're making it about a woman, so it's gonna take on like a feminist undertone. And it does somewhat, but not to the extent that I don't know how to explain it. I feel like some stories the author goes in with a very specific agenda in mind on, making this a feminist story, making this type of story, whatever. And then the author kind of forgets how to characterize anything else about that character. Like everything about that character is just the fact that they're a female, and there's nothing else interesting about them. And I think that just takes away the complexity, and it takes away the human nature of a person, because a person is so much more than a small tiny part of their life. And I really really love how the author delves into the whole complexity of who Elizabeth was here and who Victor was. But Victor, I would say his character was pretty well developed in Frankenstein as is. I do really love the passages where we get to learn more and more about him here as well. But overall, I'm just really enjoying and I'm enthralled by Elizabeth's character, because like sometimes I really feel for her, and I want her to succeed, and I see how difficult it is for her to live in the shadow of a man, to live in the shadow of his family, trying to ensure that, she stays with his family, and she's doing all of these different things. She's being very resourceful in trying to please everyone because she does not have a family. She has been adopted by the Frankenstein family as a child. And so she doesn't have parents, she doesn't have a husband, she has no one. That is the key motivation of Elizabeth to remain with the Frankenstein family, because they're a well-off family, and to remain with Victor himself just to have some sort of safety net for herself. So that's kind of the more feminist aspect of the story, where, she's a female, so she has to work extra hard to find her place in society. But there's something so interesting about how she goes about certain things that makes me hate her. She is so pathetic at times, and she is obviously manipulated by Victor in many different ways, but she also is an enabler to Victor to do all his cruel stuff that he's doing, even as a kid, as a teenager, and now and as an adult. And she's always the one going behind him, enabling him to basically continue, because she keeps erasing his tracks. She keeps people who are questioning what is going on away from Victor, so that he can continue doing whatever it is that he wants to do, which pisses me the F off. Like, there's some gruesome passages in here, especially one about a deer that he found. The deer was hurting. I'm gonna go into details, but it's really, really gruesome. Like, I'm just reading that, I'm like, I could never, like, what the F? Elizabeth, you were okay with that? You stayed? So in those moments, I really hate her. And she's so pathetic. And I'm like, girl, get it the fuck together. Leave and find another situation. Like, life is not gonna end. Although I hate and love her at the same time, I do enjoy this complexity of her character. I'm also enjoying a lot, as I mentioned at the beginning, how nature is described. And nature, a lot of time, is kind of seen as this brutal force that has something to do with creation. So everything comes from nature, everything is created from nature. And there's so many beautiful passages where Victor has these uncomfortable feelings when nature is kind of acting up, when there's, for example, a storm or there's something big that happens naturally. Victor is unable to sit with those emotions because he feels as though he has no control. He has no control over the fact that a thunderstorm could hit and a lightning could basically kill him in a second. He needs to have full control over nature and over creating things. And obviously that desire becomes more and more and more intensified as the years go by and as his studies continue. I'm loving it. I'm really, really loving it. Right now, I think I'm going to sit down and do a little bit of a puzzle, that October puzzle that I was talking about, and I think I'm going to listen to a bit more of this, and then I might take a break from this, and I have another book that I really want to get to, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So this is a collection of multiple stories, but for now I only want to read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, I'm just gonna work on the puzzle, and then I might just alternate between this and this while I work on the puzzle and just have a cozy night. Hello. It is the next day. Have a couple reading updates, have a couple updates in general. Yesterday was honestly the perfect autumn reading day for me. I had such a good time. The readathon is not over yet. It's supposed to be over in about 2 hours, but we're going to do a little change of plans just because I do have to get some work done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up for the hours that I'm not reading right now. I'm going to read in the evening. So I'm still gonna, read those extra hours, but just right now I have to work a little bit. And then also this morning I took it very chill. I did do some reading this morning, but I also went to the gym, so all of those hours that I spent doing other things, I'll be recuperating them a bit later today. But let me tell you about the books I've been reading. I did finish a book. I finished The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving, and I don't know, it was okay. There were some passages that were very, very beautiful that I really enjoyed, and then some other ones that I just could not care less and I just wanted it to be over. So I guess it sits somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5-ish. I feel like the second part of the story is much more interesting. There are a lot of beautiful descriptions about Halloween and Halloween food. It really reminded me a lot of A Christmas Carol, but just in the context of Halloween. There was the doughy donut, the tender oly coac, and the crisp and crumbling cruller, sweet cakes and shortcakes, ginger cakes and honey cakes, the whole family of cakes. And then there were apple pies and peach pies and pumpkin pies, besides slices of ham and smoked beef, and moreover delectable dishes of preserved plums and peaches and pears and quinces, not to mention broiled shad and roasted chickens, together with bowls of milk and cream, all mingled, higgledy-piggledy, pretty much as I have enumerated them, with the motherly teapot sending up its clouds of vapor from the midst. Heaven bless the mark. I feel like those descriptions are really good at putting you into the Halloween mood. But aside from that, I don't know, like, just the way in which the narrative is told, especially at the beginning of the story, it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it feels very removed. So it's like, ooh, there was this person once upon a time, and once upon a time there was this meadow. And those types of descriptions, I'm just learning more and more that I don't really enjoy in stories because they feel very removed. I'm not able to kind of set myself in the story because I feel like just in a way that the story is told, it seems from such a long time ago, back in the past, that it's difficult for me to grasp it or for my mind to kind of imagine it and imagine myself being there. I'm just rambling on. I don't even know. But it was okay. It was not a bad book. I think I would recommend, especially the ending. I thought was quite interesting. And as I said, the second part of the story, but it was not my favorite Halloween read. I also did make quite a bit of progress in our novel, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, and I continue to freaking enjoy it. Like, I think this is gonna be a 5-star. This is really, 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 really good. I am 200 pages through, so I have about 100 pages left, which I'm going to finish up a bit later today. At this point in the story, Elizabeth has met the monster, and she's also discovered that Victor is the creator of the monster. So it's really towards the end where she is, going after Victor, and trying to figure out what Victor is trying to do. Possibly kill the monster, trying to save him, as she usually does. She never learns. And I'm really excited to see how Kiersten White concludes this beautiful story. I think that's all for now. I'm going to go do my work, unfortunately. Gotta do work, and then I will spend a couple hours tonight to finish up this